What's up, flock of seagulls? I'm back with a new episode of the Weekly Comics Pull. That's where I talk about the comic books I bought this week, and we review them. Now, first off, I'm going to start plugging my own comic book, the one I write and create, Red Knight. Issue 5 just came out this past week, and I recommend getting it. I think it's really good. And the art's from J.C. Grande, and also a backup story is drawn by James Harmon. It's available in print and digital right now at Manos Publishing. Now, let's get to these other guys who make comic books. This past week, I picked up a few books. I picked up 4. Actually, I picked up 5, but I'm a little bit behind on we only find them when they're dead. So I'm going to have to hold off from reviewing issue 6 right now because I need to catch up. I have issue 4 and 5 to read. Maybe I'll talk about that in a future video. I don't know. So far, the series is really good. But this week, I picked up, what do we got here? Champions, number 7. Heroes Reborn, number 3. Amazing Spider-Man, number 66. And Daredevil, 30. Now, let's get started with... I'm going to start with Champions, number 7 here. And this is from Danny Lore and Luciano Vecchio. And for those of you just joining us, the Outlawed arc was essentially the evil corporation Roxxon got threatened by the Champions, kind of fighting them when they tried to kill an environmentalist. They were able to pressure the government into creating this like anti-teenage superhero law, and at the end of the arc, they were able to kind of get the law rescinded. Although the law hasn't been officially rescinded, and Roxxon is trying to kind of save public face by kind of creating this app, and this is the Killer App story arc. They're trying to appeal to the kids, which, just joining us, Roxxon is basically Marvel's Exxon. So, you know, imagine how much luck Exxon would have appealing to the kids nowadays. But anyway, this is what they're trying to do. They've even brought on a former Stark guy who's kind of evil, who's been messing around against Ironheart. Matter of fact, Ironheart was about to lead the team until she realized he was like joining Roxxon. Was like, wait, whoa, screw this guy. I'm going to help you. And we start out with Snowguard. She actually shows up and goes, "What the hell are you doing? Are you helping Roxxon? I've seen a couple of you join the team." And they tell her, "Well, no, funny story." And it goes back to this, they're infiltrating. Miss Marvel came up with this plan to infiltrate because they're doing this thing as far as this outreach to teenagers, doing this intern thing. So they decide that the best 2 candidates are Sam and Miles because they recognize the others. So they go in and kind of audition and interview for it, and they choose Miles because he's cool, and they don't choose Sam because they think he's boring. And Sam overhears this, by the way, and is kind of hurt, frankly, by it. I mean, Kamala tells him, like, "Hey, don't worry, you were playing a part that they thought was boring, and they're also bad guys." But, you know, he still kind of bugs him. Meanwhile, we're kind of like getting to like the heart. Let's see, essentially, Viv Vision and Ironheart are kind of trying to investigate the technical side of this and seeing what they're really doing. We do cut to this protest because people are still kind of mad about the things that Roxxon has done and actually always do. And these evil bastards were, you may have heard, if you pay attention to some news outlets, you might notice that sometimes people instigate within factions of protesters to make the protesters look good, to give the authorities the thumbs up to start beating the crap out of anybody. Roxxon tries this, but thankfully the champions are here, so we're kind of picking up to the next chapter. where Sam like talks to the head of their outreach program and goes, "Hey, look, I know it was a bad interview or whatever, but I think you might want to give me another chance because, hey, I know Kamala Khan, and that's news to Kamala." He kind of panicked. This is very, very good. I'm enjoying this arc a lot. I'm glad they didn't completely drop the Outlawed story arc because it did end kind of abruptly. And that is partly due, actually, it's probably mostly due to the COVID situation that really wrecked the rollout of a lot of books last year. And one of the ones hit was the pretty good Outlawed story arc. So I'm glad this is able to pick up the pieces and, kind of continue on in actually a pretty realistic fashion because, these things do kind of go slowly and they could, turn back at any time. I enjoyed this issue quite a bit. There's a very, very funny line in this, which I forgot to mention, where they're talking about, Kamala is talking about the plan, what she's going to do. And they go, why can't we just have the Avengers or something? And she says that this is not a typical situation where, they can, punch, web, or blast, or even explain this to the Avengers. And she says they're millennials, they wouldn't understand anyway. The Avengers are millennials. As a matter of fact, in the next panel, Ironheart even asks her, "Wait, do you think Captain America and Thor are millennials?" She goes, "Yeah, whatever. Let's just get back to the plan." Very fun. It is kind of a funny thing to think about with the Marvel sliding time scale. Is these characters who were invented in the '60s, who were they were probably in canon born in the '40s, are becoming different generations. They were boomers, and they become Gen X, and they become millennials, and they become Gen Y, and so forth. It's a really interesting way to think about, and also I believe future writers should probably keep that in mind when they write them. When you're writing Tony Stark, you can't write him like a '60s boomer anymore because that's not who he would be. But you also have to keep in mind the history too. So it is interesting and complicated. I enjoyed this a lot. 5 out of 5 ramp chips. Let's go over to The Amazing Spider-Man, number 66. And this is from Nick Spencer. Mark Bagley is doing the art. He is back, baby. I absolutely love his work. And he is... it's funny. When they give him... It feels like he's doing every few issues right now. And you can tell he takes his time on these pages. They're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, his work, even rushed, looks great. But... you can definitely tell when he's had an extra month or so to kind of warm up. And these pages are really good. Hey, a lot of intrigue goes on in this issue. Let's see, Kingpin, because of the last issue, or I should say the giant-sized Amazing Spider-Man #1, King's Ransom, which you shouldn't have skipped. You should have got that because of this weird way they're releasing these issues. Anyway... Kingpin kind of gets what he wants, where he's able to use that magical tablet to bring the Rose back to life, and this is kind of his second chance with not screwing up that relationship. He also, by the way, has another son, Butch, who's over in the Daredevil book, so I'll talk about it a little bit later. He almost has the whole family back together. Speaking of the family getting back together, Norman Osborn rescues Kindred from his magical mystical prison using the Spot of all people, who's actually grossly underrated, I think, as a character. I mean, yeah, haha, he looks silly, he's called the Spot, whatever, he can really do some damage, he's a problem. So, alright, we're getting back to Spider-Man kind of realizing that he's going to have to probably, kind of do a little investigating, and he's also kind of making good with the New Avengers. I mean, this hasn't been a big deal in the book, but, Kingpin has been doing an okay job of putting a wedge between Spidey and the other heroes. Let's see, Mary Jane is back. She's discovered through, Overdrive. She's picked up by Overdrive, and he's telling her, look, I need your help. There's some problem right now with Charlie Cooper. And we kind of pick up from there to Norman Osborn, who is trying to take care of Harry, and Harry, he's not having it. it's really, Norman's really trying to reach out, and it's long done for Harry. Like, he knocks him the fuck out, and he's apparently imprisoned him at the end of the issue. Oh, and also at the end of the issue, Betty is back, and she's pregnant, and I have no idea. She's been off the books for a while, so I don't know what she's been doing, or who she's been doing. So, hey, this is really good. This is like just another chapter in my stories with Spider-Man. Really dug this one quite a bit. I'm very curious to see where we're going. You know, the Kindred thing is nowhere near finished, so I don't know what's going to happen next. So I dug this one a lot. The art is gorgeous, as I mentioned. I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5 Ram Chips. So let's go over to Heroes Reborn from Jason Aaron. And who does the art on this one? This is mostly Federico Vincentini. I've seen his work before. He's pretty good. And Ed McGuinness does the backup story. And Ed's been going back and forth between doing like the main story and the backup story. And let's see, there wasn't too much reported on what this was going to be. It was definitely something in Jason Aaron's Avengers book that he has been kind of building up to. And instead of just doing the arc within the Avengers books, it's been kind of done as this event, or this small event. I don't know. And how do I briefly say? Someone has taken the Avengers out of the time stream, and because the Avengers has been taken out, the Marvel universe has kind of become the DC universe, and we have all these characters that have kind of become very DC-like, and their behavior, like Ursa Major is from Grizzly City, where it's this city of super intelligent bears. This issue follows Blur, who is sort of the Flash of this group. Squadron Supreme, who is kind of the Justice League of this universe now. And they are the major heroes. They've replaced the Avengers. And this series has been done in an interesting way, because issue 2 and issue 3, and I assume the next couple of issues, will be following another member of the Squadron Supreme and kind of see how their days go and their histories, all wrapped up in these very quick, kind of like cameo-laden stories that kind of like pull us through this weird DC version of the Marvel universe. It's kind of funny. Like, it feels like a not so mean. It's not a really mean-spirited kind of trolling. It seems kind of like the good-natured ribbing Marvel always seems to do on DC, but done as a story arc. Because hell, the continuity has been rewritten too. Good lord. Anyway, let's see. This whole thing is a battle between Blur and the Scarlet Witch, who has become the Silver Witch, and she is this mixture of herself and her brother. She's a speedster witch, which actually is a really fantastic idea. And they go through all sorts of like dimensions and time streams, and other characters show up. Ghost Rider is apparently, the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider is apparently a speedster too. And he is the Ghost Runner, which actually, that's kind of a neat idea. All the way down to like the fact that, he's able to eventually take her down, and she is shipped off to Ravencroft, which does exist in the regular Marvel universe, but it's very much their Arkham Asylum, and it's more so in this universe. And that's kind of that. The next thing we see is the Phoenix Force, and the Phoenix Force is apparently possessing Echo, and Echo is in Ravencroft, and is just, she's supposed to be in prison, but she could break out any time she wants, but she just kind of just stays there and plays her piano. That's when Blade and Captain America show up and tell her, hey, we're going to need you. We're building a team, and since you can leave anytime, I think you'd like to leave with us. So, all the while, we're getting to see kind of a tour of this DC Marvel universe. Captain America and Blade are putting together a plan, putting together a team. Not too bad. I'm going to give this one, I like it for the most part. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 Ram Chips. I know that doesn't sound like I liked it very much. I dug it, but it didn't exactly wow me either. Maybe it's because it kind of is a Flash book essentially, and I'm not the biggest Flash fan. So not too bad though. And now we're done, except for Daredevil 30. And that's from Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto and Mike Hawthorne doing the art. And you can tell definitely where the styles change. They kind of go back and forth in scenes. Cicchetto definitely worked on the Elektra scenes. Now, Matt Murdock survived his bloodletting, his attack from last issue, and he is in the hospital, and he is given an out by the feds. The feds come and go, hey, look, the guy who owns the prison is doing some really sneaky, suspicious shit, and you're already here, so you know what? If you help us bring this guy down, we'll let you off. We'll, commute your sentence. And Matt, of course, goes, no, I'll do it, but I won't take the deal. And of course, I love Foggy's reaction to that. It's like, oh God, this asshole. This is what I deal with all the time. This stupid idiot. Meanwhile, let's see, Elektra is kind of like she's training, her new protege. At the same time, she's kind of investigating, this new crime boss that's starting to pop up, who is Butch, Kingpin's other son, the one that didn't die, and the one who wasn't appreciated, apparently, without all the drama. Also, this is interesting. Typhoid Mary's out of the hospital from the whole Venom King in Black event. She got hurt, and now she's better, and Kingpin invites her to dinner, and on a date, I think. This is really interesting because in Spider-Man, it does seem like he's moved on. Even when he had the chance to bring his wife back, he's moved on from Vanessa, and he's maybe kind of trying to woo Typhoid Mary, which is actually a fascinating couple idea. I'm very curious to see where that goes. The art in here is gorgeous. Butch sends one of his super powered goons after Elektra in this wonderful fight. Very, very good. We also get to see what happens when one of them is stabbed. The super goon and kind of the Jason hockey mask is stabbed, and he disappears. He's a member of the Hand. So Butch is kind of working with the Hand, I think. Very, very cool. And let's see. Now, Bullseye has been, as you've seen, he's actually been under mental control from the Kingpin. He's been helping him over in Spider-Man, and he's been under his thumb, and he calls Kingpin and goes, hey, I broke out of your control, and I killed everybody here, and I'm going to take off, so screw you. Which, of course, doesn't get a good reaction from Wilson Fisk. So, God, this is great. Always probably the best comic I read every week. I read it, very, very good. Picked up the story. I'm very curious to see where Matt Murdock goes. He's got to take this. I didn't mention that he does have one more conversation with, I can't remember his name, the cop. I believe his name is Cole. Yes. Cole has a conversation with him because he rides back with him to prison, and he's going, you're a stupid idiot. You can take your leave. You can get out of here. You can still pay your dues and get out early. And, this isn't about what you think it is. This is about, punishing yourself and something like that. Man, this is a good scene. I think Matt is going to take the deal. So, very good stuff. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Ram Chips. Excellent work. The art's gorgeous as always. So, hey, what comics did you read this week? You can let me know in the comments below. That always helps my algorithm when you do that. Or hit hit the notification bell for all things Manos. And you can find me at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. And you can support The Real Manos and Manos Publishing, $1 a month over at Patreon. So, I don't know, maybe you want to try it. All right, I'll be back soon with maybe a live show on Sunday, and I have an MST3K reaction video about the return of MST3K coming soon. I know I've been talking about it, but I'm going to do it soon. All right, take care, folks. Push the button, that's it.